Well, greetings and salutations to everybody out there in YouTube land. I'm your host once again, Dan Thornton. I want to thank you all for tuning in today to Lions Talk Live Morning Show Edition. Hey, here we are, one day closer to the game, and I'm guessing if I'm like most of the rest of you, I'm starting to get a little antsy. I'm ready for this thing to be here. I'm ready for the game to just get going. But as you can probably tell from today's thumbnail, the national media, I get it's their job. It's their job to get you to tune in, get to read whatever magazine, newspaper, click on this show, this ad, or whatever it may be. They've got a bunch of divided opinions on things. Skip Bayless, as you could probably tell or probably even know from yesterday's news cycle, I guess you could say, or the thumbnail from today, he had some disparaging words during the Lions game or right at the end of it against Tampa Bay Buccaneers, basically just saying congrats. Now you're going to go get blasted by the 49ers. Obviously, in my opinion, Skip Bayless is not new to the news industry. He's doing that to get a lot of emotions. He was probably definitely aware how many people have become pseudo Lions fans this year. And you know what? He saw the opportunity to strike. He was going to put some emotions into things by getting people upset. And that's exactly what he did. But let's also be honest, he's not alone. People across the nation, you're either pro-Detroit or against Detroit, and they're doing that, in my opinion, on purpose. All right, before we get into all of today's show, you guys know the drill. I got a few things you got to do first. If you haven't yet subscribed to Lions Talk Live, please consider doing so. Trying to make a push to get to 5,800 subs by this weekend's kickoff. So if you could help out with that, that surely would be great. Also, if you're enjoying the video or videos, feel free to give a thumbs up on it. Really helps everything out. Last but not least, hey, in case you didn't know, outside of being a YouTuber and a coach, I am a realtor and have been for a really long time. So if you're looking for someone to work with you on your behest, try to save you some money on either purchasing property or selling property anywhere in the state of Michigan, give me a call, shoot me a text. You see the number on the screen, 269-998-2384. If you're outside of the state of Michigan, I can still try to give you some thoughts and advice, maybe even hook you up with somebody who can physically work with you on your behest. All right, with all that out of the way, now let's get into the show. I got some questions for you guys. Hey, what are your guys' score predictions for this weekend? I know I've given you guys mine. I think we're going to win by a field goal, but I am curious to see what the majority of people out there watching the show, what you guys are thinking. So if you get a free second, go ahead and leave me your score prediction. All right, Michael, greetings and salutations, Coach and Duke crew. Good morning to you too, my friend. Hopefully you're having a great one. Jason, greetings and salutations to Dan and crew. The anticipation is killing me. Jason, I got to imagine you, Michael, and everybody in the chat here, man. We're all feeling the same way. It is Thursday, and we wish it was Sunday, but, hey, with every day, the anticipation just grows a little bit more and more. One other question I want to throw at you guys. I haven't heard anything from anybody I talked to officially on this, but I know Boomer Esiason came out yesterday and said that he's convinced or heard, I should say, that Ben Johnson is going to be the next Washington Commanders coach. What do you guys think? Is that a good fit? I know the Falcons have also requested second interviews with him, and I believe Aaron Glenn, around a number of other teams have also done so, but do you put any credence? Do you think it's a good landing spot for Ben Johnson, the Washington Commanders, that is? Be interested to see what you guys think of that. All right, Michael, howdy, Dan Lions faithful. Key to victory, stop the run and win the turnover battle. I would agree. That's a good setup right there. If you're not giving the 49ers extra offensive possessions and you're able to run the ball, control the clock, control the game, those are all good setups. Susan, what do you got? Good morning, everyone. Can we just get to Sunday already? Yeah, I'd say this is becoming a common thing. I mean, we're at that point in the week where, hey, some of the excitement from the victory over Tampa Bay has kind of faded, and now some of the anxiety is starting to build as we get ever so close to the game against the 49ers in the NFC Championship. And man, oh man, at the start of the year when we kicked off at Kansas City, did anybody really say, hey, the Detroit Lions are going to be 60 minutes away from being in the Super Bowl? Yeah, we're at that point in the season. Moodscar, I'm enjoying every minute, waiting for Sunday. Waited 32 years, so I want this feeling to last. Yeah, and I'm with you there, man. It's been such a long time since the Lions have done this. And now that we're here, just kind of take it all in, embrace the moment and the opportunity. Think about all the things this team has done this year and the cultural shifts they've done. And to be fair, not just this year, but last year. Think of all the things this franchise has achieved in just 3 short years. It's hard to believe just over 3 years ago, the Matt Patricia, Bob Quinn era was still in effect here. And yes, it was coming to a close, but think about where our franchise was at that point, where it is now. Man, what a change. All right, Mike, greetings, salutations, all. Any more updates on Jonah Jackson? At least I'm assuming it's Jonah Jackson. Nothing that I've really heard. I know he's listed as doubtful, and I'd say that's probably a good range for him to be in. Is there some sort of outside chance he could play? Absolutely. I just think, especially for a guard, someone who's going to have to use lateral abilities a ton in blocking assignments and putting stress on that ligament. I just don't see him playing, man. But I've been wrong before. It's just with the meniscus, and I get it was just a slight meniscus tear. They repaired it, but I just can't see it, 4 or 5 days later, him being out on the field. Hope I'm wrong. Hope he is, and hope he plays at a great level. Jerome, hey, coach, on the injury report, sometimes have players listed as illness or personal. How are those injuries? So an illness, just, somebody's got the flu or the Rona or whatever it is, they're just, sick. They're not injured. They're sick. As far as a personal situation, could be that they had to miss practice that day due to, a family member or something, or matter, maybe I should say. They had to take the kid to a hospital or something like that. Who knows what it is, but something to do with non-football situation that forces the player to basically miss a day of work. Maybe that's the best way to put it. All right, Robert, good morning, Dan and crew. Good morning to you, Robert. Hopefully you're having a great one. Southwest Line, good morning, all. Great interview with Zach Ertz yesterday. I think he'll play and have some impact. Yeah, I think there's a growing opportunity. I think it's just going to Southwest. I think it will have to be really limited. And I know we've talked about it earlier this week. It's just this guy's only going to get, 3, maybe 4 practices, coaching situations, breakdowns, film studies, whatever you want to call it, where he gets to learn some of the material. And my only worry is he's got such limited reps getting prepared for this weekend's game. And this weekend's game isn't just a regular season game where if he messes up, hey, we'll get it next week. So I think they're going to have very deliberate assignments for him and situations. So it'd be my anticipation. The coaching staff knows what I just said, just like everybody else. So they're going to tell him, hey, we're going to just limit you to these, 3 or 4 personnel groups. Here's what you're going to do in these, 3 or 4 personnel groups or formations. This is what we need you to do on that. Try to keep it a very simple form. So yes, in those situations, he can get on the field, but he's got a higher probability of retaining that information, understanding the small nuances, because you don't want anybody, saying, man, I thought I was supposed to go here in a key moment or key play. All right, Sosimo, greetings and salutations on the Duke crew, exclamation point. To me, this feels like the longest week ever waiting for the game. Yeah, I think we're getting a sense that just about everybody in the chat is feeling that way, right, man? And just, hey, like a few of us have said, embrace the moment, take it all in, man, because who knows when this will happen again. We hope it's a yearly occurrence, but we've been Lions fans for a while. You know that, hey, we should probably take it all with a grain of salt and a little bit of pause. Boo, we got it. Good morning, Duke crew. All kinds of media attention we are not used to. Pundits pulling every which way. Some good, some not so good. Doesn't matter. It's still us against everyone else. Yeah, and that's you do bring up a great point there, Boo, in that a lot of the guys, you start getting out of your normal routines. That's when maybe some window of opportunity for something wrong to really starts jumping in or creeping in. Just because I get the Lions typically fly out actually on a Saturday or the day before the game. Early in the morning, they fly out, they land, get everybody, lunch, acclimated, and then, start preparing for whatever they're going to do the following morning for game day. That's what the Lions are apparently going to do this week, although nothing official has been released. So with that being said, I get MCDC's trying to keep everything as normal as possible. This is what we've done all throughout the season. This is what we're going to do now. Now, to your point, Boo, when it comes to media attention, that is changing and beyond anybody's control. You're one of the Final Four teams. You're one of the big stories, the big rah-rah rooting guy that has probably embraced the vast majority of the nation to the Detroit Lions. Everybody is acutely aware the Detroit Lions haven't won an NFC title game since 57. They're all acutely aware that, they are one of two longtime NFL franchises to not make the Super Bowl, us and the Cleveland Browns. And it's just kind of always been comical that the two dominant teams of the 40s and 50s are the two that didn't make it or haven't made it yet to the Super Bowl. I'm not including the expansion teams from the 90s. But to your point, yeah, the media is changed, and it will affect players differently. The best you can do as a coach or as a player is do the best you personally can to ignore reading stuff. It's not like, 20 years ago where cell phones weren't as prevalent. Everybody's got a phone in their hand. Everybody's got social media. Everybody's going to get inundated with, here's the new takes. This person saying this about this team or whatever. It's unavoidable, and you just hope the players can show enough restraint, I should say, to not pay too much attention to it. To just say, hey, I'll read it all after the game. We'll see if that happens. All right, Jerome. Hey, Coach. Once you have a solid game plan on key players, get hurt, who rules them out, medical or head coach? And if they can't go, is there a backup game plan? Yes to all that. Who rules them out? If it's an injury, it's usually the medical department. The medical department's going to step in and say, hey, he can't really go, or whatever have you. Now, players sometimes, like a Frank Ragnow, will step up and say, nah, I'm playing. I'm good. And then it just comes down to the medical staff and liability reasons. If they, and the coaching, I guess, has to step in too and say, hey, use Frank Ragnow example. He says, nah, I'm fine. I'm good. He says that repeatedly to Dan Campbell. Campbell says, all right, fine. You can go out there and play. In game, it's harder to contest things like that just because they don't have as much time to do a deep dive into stuff. Medical staff, if it was a head injury or something like that, can just say, nah, even if he says he wants to go, we can't let him go, again, for legal reasons. As far as the game plans, I mean, you'd typically go in with several different game plans or situations. Your game plans may become much more limited if player A or B can't go. So like the 49ers in game last week, Debo getting hurt really probably threw them for a bit of a loop because a lot of their material obviously is correlated around him. The fact that he couldn't get out there and go, that's a bit of a problem. So that limited what they're going to do. Now, this week in build-up for the Lions game, they've got days and days and days to prepare for. If he can't go, we're going to do more of this. So I'm expecting the Niners offense to be a lot more crisp than it was a week ago against the Packers, just because they've had time to prepare. So hopefully that answers your questions there, Jerome. All right, Doug, Skip Bayless is a dip. He's just media sound. No reason to ever listen to him. Yeah, I know he has his detractors. I will say this for the guy. He's been around in just about every form of media, I want to say since the 60s. So he's seen it evolve. He knows how to play the game. He knows how to do his job. And in fairness, while we might not always agree with him, his job is to get views or sell newspapers, whatever you want to say, and he does a pretty good job of it. Jason, wish list, offense, chunk plays off the play action, control the ball, limit turnovers. Defense, stop the run, pressure Purdy, force turnovers. I'll go with that list. That's a good one. Southwest, this will be another good test for both of our coordinators. It will be, big time. And I know a lot of them, like we talked about in the show, a lot of them are getting second interviews. There is speculation that Ben Johnson's already been selected by the Commanders. They're not going to reveal anything like that until after the Lions season comes to a conclusion, out of respect to not trying to detract from the Detroit Lions season. Plus, I believe there are some pseudo rules within the NFL about that'd be a no-fly zone. All right, Stephanie, good morning. Duke Crew, good morning to you too. Moonscar, what do you got? I can't wait to see how much blue is in the sea of red. I got to imagine there'll be quite a bit. And you'll notice, especially in the last 48 hours, I'd say, maybe even 24, you've seen the prices for those tickets start really jumping out there. And I do believe that's a reflection of how many Detroit Lions fans are coming out there. They're trying to buy up those tickets. And you know what? they're pushing those prices up. Damian, greatest and salutations all. Do we expect any differences out of the defense this weekend? I wouldn't think a ton. Now, could there be a couple of small schematic things? Sure, to try to catch the 49ers, Brock Purdy off guard. The one advantage for Purdy is that Kyle Shanahan, he is one of the better offensive coaches out there. Now, with that also being said, Purdy is still a younger, less experienced quarterback. I wouldn't be surprised if Aaron Glenn puts something at the line of scrimmage and then quickly shifts out of it to try to change the reads and try to force a little bit of pause, hesitation, or confusion, whatever you want to say, out of Brock Purdy. We'll see how much of a chess match Aaron Glenn can get into with Purdy and Shanahan and how much he can bring off the corners to get at Purdy. These will be big tells for Sunday's game. Ed, good morning, Coach. Based on all the player interviews, I believe MCDC has this team very focused. Do you? I do. And I do believe, it's not just the coaching staff. I do believe while there's not a ton of veteran players on here, there are a few that have been through playoff games and experience. The one valuable thing this lack of experienced team is getting is they're getting playoff experience in a hurry. These prior 2 weeks, it may only seem like 2 weeks, but it's 2 weeks where they've gone through stuff. They've handled the pressure. They've gotten some confidence, built some experience, some momentum going into this game. And I think that will be huge for them. It's no longer going to be as nerve-wracking. Hey, we're in the playoffs. Hey, we haven't won in a gajillion years or whatever. All that's in the past now. These guys have playoff experience, and your quarterback has been in the Super Bowl. He's been in multiple playoff seasons with the Rams prior to this one with the Lions. And you know what? He's had a lot of success in the postseason, and this season has even furthered upon that. Don't hold me to this, but I want to say he's one of now, I think it's like 2 or 3 or something like that, quarterbacks to ever win 14 games in a season. He's one of only like 4 or 5 quarterbacks to ever reach multiple NFC title games with different teams, I should say. So, I mean, Jared Goff is starting to put himself more and more into rarefied air. It does feel like and appear to me that the majority of this team, if not all of them, from a player personnel standpoint, really looks up to this guy, really has faith in this guy, really does view him as a leader. And the more he is leading them in the postseason to success, I really think the window of opportunity for us all to talk and speculate that the Lions aren't going to re-sign him to a longer contract is probably really diminishing. I think he's probably going to be the quarterback of the next at least 3 to 5 years in Detroit, maybe beyond that. And you know what? Another strong performance this weekend from him probably even further cements him in the eyes of his teammates as their leader, their quarterback. All right, Robert, greetings and salutations, Dan and Duke crew. Let's go Lions, 100%. Jerome, hey, Coach, do you meet or hang out with your players and coaches' families outside of work to build camaraderie? Sometimes we do some stuff for sure. It's especially when you get to different levels, you got to be a little bit careful. When you get to the pro level, I'll tell you this, you got to be real limited, at least in my opinion, what you do with them, because at the end of the day, you got to make some bad calls on people. You got to, cut them, remove them, trade them, whatever. You just don't want the emotional ties that maybe I won't do it, or where you have a compromise view. If you're talking about the college level, I'd really encourage it, especially with the portal nowadays. You need to have more than, and true with high school too, you need to be more than just a coach. You need to have relationships with people because it needs to be beyond just coaching X's and O's. There needs to be more substance to it. The pro level is a little different, though, unfortunately, through the nature of the beast. All right, Boo, do you know if the Lions fans are or can be grouped together at the game? It really just depends on where your tickets and seats, rows, and stuff like that are. I got to imagine, although I don't know, there's probably some apps or whatever groups out there that are helping everybody communicate. Hey, I'm getting tickets in this row and section. Where's everybody else? Hey, try to get in this one. We know there's, a good amount of Lions fans are going to be in this area or section. So I got to imagine there's something like that going on. Mike 505, good morning, Coach! Exclamation point. Blackman's crew refereeing. Well, he's part of a crew. Remember in the NFL playoffs, crews get busted up and reformed. So you've got people that aren't on your normal seasonal crew working together. So I don't know everybody in his crew. I just know he will be the lead official. All right, hooker time. Of the 4 teams left, Detroit and Baltimore will have played the other 3 teams after this weekend. This is true. Detroit, once you play the 49ers, you have played everybody in the Final Four. I get your point. Yeah, that how much of an advantage it'll be, I don't know, but it'll be a good tell at least because Detroit goes out there and wins this weekend. Well, hey, everybody in the Final Four, they beat Kansas City, they beat the 49ers. Now they're going to get a rematch with the Ravens, or if the Ravens beat Kansas City, that is. Jerome, hey, Coach, do you encourage your players to hang out with each other to build a strong bond? I don't really, maybe a couple events we'll set up for people to kind of do different things, work on, leadership skills or team bonding stuff. But outside of that, I think it just kind of happens naturally at most levels. All right, just good morning, all. Our defense needs to keep winning in the red zone. That would be huge for us. I agree. You look in the last 2 months, the Lions defense, as far as the red zone, has been very stout, especially in the last few weeks. We have not given up much. I mean, you look at the Rams game, that's the difference in the game. The fact that we allowed the Rams to get all sorts of yards, but only field goals in the red zone. I mean, that's why we're here. And the same with Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay was able to obviously score in part because of plays outside the red zone, but overall, the Lions defense in that area has been incredibly tough. All right, Southwest, the more Purdy throws the ball before he wants to, the greater chance the Lions have to get turnovers. I don't think the Barnes' interception happens without Baker felt from the blitz. Yeah, the pressure Baker felt from the blitz, I would agree with that. Yeah, and the more you can get it on him, like I said, we've talked about it all week. I like Brock Purdy. I think he's a good quarterback. I don't think he's elite by any means. And I think his arm talent or strength downfield is not great. So if you can get him to off his feet where he's not planning correctly, where he's not throwing or stepping into the throws, I do believe you can break on some passes or bust them up. So I'm with you on that, Southwest. Kurt, Lions 28, San Fran 24. Book it, Dano. Booked. I'll take it. Derwin, good morning dew from fam. Morning dew fam. I can feel it in our year this year. We gonna Hulk smash the 49ers. They look so weak against the Packers. They did look not the greatest against the Packers. And you know what? If you want to go out there and Hulk smash them like you did to Loki or something like that, or I guess later on in the series store, I'm okay with it, man. Put it on them, Derwin. Get after them. And you know what? Morning, dew fam, to you too. Hopefully you have a great morning, my friend. Troy D, good morning to everyone. Good morning to you too. Bit Lady, good morning, Coach, and to the Dew crew. Go Lions. Towel of Destiny or Team of Destiny. San Francisco do not know what's coming, baby. Yeah, they do not know what's coming from. And I think, their coaching staff is going to do everything they can to prepare them for this. But I will say this is going to be a huge tell for how great a team the Detroit Lions are. I think you'll see even more national perceptions change about Detroit if we go out there and we are overly physical with San Francisco. We stay in this game, we win this game. Yeah, you might see the official end of the national perception of what the Detroit Lions were. All right, Mike, with all the attention Sutton has gotten for getting burned, curious why we haven't signed a cornerback. The question is, Mike, who are you going to sign, though? That's going to be an upgrade. I think therein lies the problem. There's cornerbacks to sign out there for sure. But keep in mind, not just the Lions, nobody else in the playoffs went out to sign player A or B or whoever. So are they really an upgrade over who you have? I think just at this point in the year, this is who you have. And this is who you got to roll with. There's no reinforcement to be had that you can just go out and easily acquire to make everything better. And I think that's the problem. Michael, Team of Destiny or Towel of Destiny? Let me know in the comment section below. All right, Jerome. Hey, Coach, if a player missed up in a game And if you're interviewed after you do take up for him and admit he messed up, I protect the players, man. Just say, hey, that's on me, coaching assignment. I made the bad call. I put him in the wrong formation, something like that. Players don't need that stuff. Plus, you want to embrace yourself to your players. You want them to know that you've always got their back. Yeah, don't hang somebody out to dry. Hooker time. Detroit is 15-5. San Francisco, 14-5. San Francisco is 13-5. This is correct. Detroit has played one more game. All right. Southwest, in both playoff wins, the Lions showed resiliency, bouncing back whenever the other team threw a punch. They'll need to do that again in San Francisco. I agree. And San Francisco, hey, they're going to be able to score some points. They're going to be able to put some stuff on us. You're going to have to fight back. And that's really the way it should be. There are 4 teams left. These are the top 4 teams in the NFL this year. You expect everybody to have an offense, a defense, special teams, and they're going to come after you. Nobody is going to lay down. So get ready for a good old-fashioned heavyweight fight, man. Doug, greetings and salutations. Lions Land, good morning to you too, my friend. Hopefully I'm having a great one. Jason, odds makers have the Lions at 27.8 chance to win. So you're saying there's a chance. Yes, Jim Carrey right there. And I actually like our chances. I get, odds makers got to do their job. But you know what? There's always the Buster Douglas, Mike Tyson moment, the Holly whatever versus Ronda Rousey. There's always upsets. And you know what? I think the Lions are probably a lot better matchup than most people think. Now, I get Vegas spends a ton of money to get these odds and get them right because that's what makes them money. But I also say the Lions have been a bad bet for Vegas, at least from what little I know of betting, for about the last 3 years. So let's hope that continues. All right, Dennis, good morning, fam. Good morning to you too. Trump, do you have any good Hooker news? I do not. Probably won't hear much about Hooker really until the offseason, OTAs, stuff like that. But I don't know anything new about him beyond that. All right, Detroit D, can't wait until Sunday evening, and we show the national media and the rest of the NFL. We are here and not going anywhere for a long time. Lots of exclamation points. The beginning of a dynasty. I think we could be 100%. Yeah. With the big thing going for the Lions is you look at how many youthful players they have on the team. I mean, really, the vast majority of the team are 3 years of experience in the league or less. And I get the NFL, careers change in a hurry. But I suspect the bulk of the Lions franchise, the players on it, are really going to change exponentially in the next 2 to 3 years. So I'm with you. I think we're setting some up here. Man, if we keep hitting the draft, then who knows how long this thing could be around. But the Lions came in with an approach. Give Brad Holmes, give MCDC, Ford Hamp, everybody some credit. They said, we're not going to try to do just a quick fix just to get one good season out of this. We're going to try to build this thing for sustainable future success. And I'm with you. I think it's there for a while. All right, Moonscar, Coach, any thoughts on how the Lions open up the middle of the field with those athletic 49ers linebackers lurking there? To me, I think you just hit the nail on the head, Moonscar. That is going to be the offense and the game in a nutshell. How do you get those guys out of their spots to help, augment your offense? And, the troubling part is they're not really going to rely on them a lot for helping out on deeper routes. So even though you can send Jameson Williams deep or whoever, Josh Reynolds deep, Khalif Raymond, if he's able to go, that's not going to affect those backers. The only thing I could say is you're going to have to put stress and pressure on them with opposite side routes. So what does that mean? All right, if you do have some people going in deeper routes, that means those backers over the middle are going to have to guard not only the middle, but more than likely the outs. So I can see something like Laporta cutting up and out, trying to draw one of them out, and then have maybe like a Gibbs or Montgomery run a pseudo wheel route past the line. Because then if those guys are sticking what they normally do, which both of them mostly play underneath zone coverage, you're putting them in a bad spot. They can't guard two dudes. Now, how the 49ers have to adjust to that in the game? If both of them are going to stay there, and let's just say for the sake of my example here, Laporta runs it in and out, That means now one of the cornerbacks out on the edge here, sorry, I gotta remember the screen, can't play man, basically, because that person has to assign for the sideline and helping out there, which means now the safety's over the top. You got to have two over the top, and they're going to have to cover the deep out routes from a corner and the center of the field. So I believe you're going to have to use some mechanics like that. And, the Niners play a ton of zone coverage anyways. I mean, this shouldn't be horribly new to them, but I think you're going to have to put a lot of stress on them to basically have to guard the whole field. Make it so those backers have to be responsible for basically two people going in opposite directions. And that's no easy task. But how about this, Moonscar? There's no real easy answer. That's just some of the crazy stuff I'd be drawing up, either that or, again, with the in route and out route from Laporta, and then have two people cross, one this way, that way on the opposite side of the field. Again, you want to put defenders, especially zone coverage defenders, in as bad a situation as you can repeatedly. They're going to be able to jump one of those routes. They're physically not able to jump both routes. So as long as Goff is on with his reads, the routes are crisp, you should be able to carve them up. But again, like you're already pointing out, those guys are studs. They're some of the best in the NFL. They're going to make some plays. All right, Southwest Dan, is there a team with more yards after the catch in San Francisco? Seems like they get a lot of the yards after the catch. They do, and some of that is basically just poor tackling. But they have some stronger guys who can break tackles as well. Give them some credit. So you're gonna have to do whatever we can to limit their yak yards. We do that. Just make them continuously. If they're going to push and drive the ball, make it be long, repeatable. They have to sustain drives. You're hoping, obviously, at some point they make a mistake. Aaron Glenn's going to come after him, though. I have no doubt about that. I think he says we can't allow them to just go slowly down the field. They're going to have to pick their poisons. All right, Trump, ref's going to cheat. Watch. There's probably some thoughts of that for sure. But I would say this. You got to play better than the refs then. All right, Henry Ford. All right, what do you got? Greetings and salutations, Coach. Good morning to you, Henry, and hopefully having a good one. Jason, hats off and big praise to the authenticity of leadership of the entire organization. This is a fun ride. It is, and they've done a great job reforming the franchise and in a hurry. Doug, J-Mo, and Gibbs will catch fire Sunday night. They could be big possibilities. Yeah, for the way the 49ers play, both of them could do some real damage to them. Detroit D, we have to limit CMC to around 60, 80 total yards. He can't beat you by himself. Yeah, McCaffrey, he's the real McCoy for sure. And you keep him limited, keep him chained up. You do what you can to make sure he can't break out either the run or the passing game. Then you know what? You just take a lot more opportunities away from that offense. Jerome, hey, Coach, I've seen receivers catch pass over their head without looking back. Is that the chemistry and trust between them and the quarterback? Yeah, and a lot of it is what you're mentioning. Those are timing routes for the most part. And, yeah, you just have that kind of built-up trust and relationship between quarterback and receiver. So that takes a lot of practice to develop, but they can get it, yes. Hooker time. I just want Goff. There's no need for a hooker. We'll go with that. All right, let's see. Dennis, laugh out loud. Yes. Don Kong, Super Bowl or bust. Still got to get that into the thumbnail before the game Sunday. All right, Mike 505. With Taylor Swift and Eminem showing up for their teams, having a KC versus Detroit Super Bowl would create ratings like crazy. There would be a lot of headlines about that, wouldn't it? Taylor Swift, her type of music versus Eminem, yada, yada. Detroit versus Kansas City, all that stuff comes into play. So you're not wrong. Jason, Hooker time. Fluke scenario. Goff gets injured. Teddy steps in. He is a game manager. Stick with a plan. Weakness, strengths. Yeah, let's hope it doesn't happen, but the game plan would change very much, I would think, at least, between quarterbacks, just because they do have different strengths and weaknesses. Trump's, damn, I meant Houston. Okay. Henry, let's see. I dreamt last night about our Lions beating the 49ers. Well, let's hope your dream is reality. Derwin, I don't like Skip. I think there's a lot of people that they might watch him even though they hate him just because you hate him that much. So, you said like, not hate. So, but anyways, you get my gist. All right, Hooker time. The refs are the same refs that messed us a few years ago in Green Bay when they called a couple of face masks and Green Bay won a field goal. Yeah, it is the same group, or excuse me, the same lead official. So let's hope history doesn't repeat itself. Jerome, hey, coach, do the players get complimentary game tickets? They do get an allotment for family. I don't remember how many it is. I want to say it's like 2 or something like that. But each player does get 2 tickets to give out to family members. And damn, Harbaugh is gone. Yes, Dennis, he is gone. It sounds like 100%. Derwin, he mad about the Cowboys. He probably is about the Cowboys. Sue's News. Good morning, Dan. We got this. I have faith. I agree with you. And you know what? I think, like the Tower of Destiny foretold, we're going to win by a field goal. Trump, Skip, and Shannon are good buddies. All right. Yeah, I believe they are. But for whatever reason, they had fallen apart or whatever. Maybe it was just for ratings. We'll never know, man. All right. Southwest, I think Goff is 2-2 at Levi Stadium. Well, let's hope it's 3-2 after this one. All right. Scott, hoping KC makes it into the Lions can make Taylor Swift cry. I like the way you're thinking. Paper bag fan, good morning. Go Lions. I'll go with that. And good morning to you too. Joseph, did we get any offensive linemen through free agency to pick up where Jonah Jackson is not playing? They did sign a guy, but my guess is it's mostly just for depth. But I don't think he'll be starting. Steve White, photographer. Apparently, Skip doesn't appreciate other national media outlets calling Detroit, quote, America's team now, but they got great season. But hey, great season, Cowboys. Yes, yeah. Skip Bayless is a diehard Cowboys fans. I get it. Him and Mike Florio are incredibly biased, in my opinion, but it is what it is. Brent, good morning, coach and Duke crew. What do you think the Niners will scheme up to deal with the pressure that will come from Hutch, Iffy, and others? I think you'll probably see a lot more delayed blocks or slow releases, tight end chips, running back chips, things like that. So that is my anticipation, at least. I don't think they're going to leave in like an extra offensive lineman or anything. All right, Dennis, anyone need a house, Dan the man? Hey, if you do, go ahead and give me a call, shoot me a text. I'll try to help you guys out with that request. David, hope Debo plays, no asterisks. Hey, I hope he does it. I hope Brock Purdy slips on some ice in San Francisco and, is out for the game. I hope everyone on the 49ers offensive line, gets the flu and can't play. I mean, heck, man, why not just make it the whole team for the 49ers? They can all be ready and good to go on Monday. I don't care if it's the asterisks or not. I just want to win. Because I am a biased Lions fan, and I'm not trying to hide it at all. Detroit D, we must attack the San Francisco corner Thomas, get him matched up against J. Moore or St. Brown, make him plays. He's a PI waiting to happen. Yeah, get after him. And like, you and I talked about the rest of the chat throughout the week, I really think their cornerbacks, if they might not even be better than Detroit's, and that's no disrespect to Detroit's. I'm just saying it's not the strength of their team. So I'm with you. I think you can get them a little bit and maybe get some PIs like you're saying, Detroit D. Dennis, 21-16. I'll take that. Doug, 27-24. Detroit. I'll take that. Yeah, Dennis, I was assuming at least you were picking the Lions to win. So there we go. I'll flash them together. All right, hooker time. If Detroit beats San Francisco and Baltimore in the Super Bowl, then Detroit would have beat all 4 of these teams that are left. And you know what? That'd be a heck of a stat to throw out in the celebration party and give the team a ton of credit when that happens. Paper bag fan, 31-21 Lions. I'll go with that. Brent, I'm sticking with my original prediction of Lions, 34-31. I'll take that. I like it. Robert, 27-23 Lions. All right, I'll go with that. Joseph, hey, thanks for that, man. Thank you very much for that. I will enjoy a Mountain Dew and a hot dog, and thank you for that very much. All right, Derwin, honest opinion, I think we get up early, and it forces Purdy to be a pocket passer, and he might force it a couple times and give us a few pick sixes. Bring on the Chiefs, baby. Cold dews on me. All right, Derwin, I will take that. And I like the way you're thinking, man. Yeah, put the weight of the world on Brock Purdy's arm and see him implode, right? Get him to throw a few pick sixes. Man, can you imagine the party at Ford Field, let alone everybody's houses or whatever, when this thing's unfolding? Man, it would be great. Dennis, not a good fit. All right. Magruder, what do you got? 33. All right. Detroit D. Ben Johnson doesn't have a QB in Washington. No, but they do have a really high draft pick, so they could probably go get one. We'll see if we'll see if that's true. I don't know if it is. I'm just saying what Boomer Esiason was reporting. I want to say there was somebody else that was pseudo reporting that, but you guys probably know about that more than I do. All right, Robert, 31-24, Lions win. I'll go with that. Gun guy. So who wants to start Hooker still? Goff, especially when he goes out and wins this weekend. Yeah, I mean, that dude, he's never buying an Uber in Detroit. He's never buying his own meal in Detroit, his own beverage, whatever. Yeah, I mean, they might have to construct a statue of him and of this team out in front of Ford Field because he'll be that kind of rarefied air. Magruder, 31-27, Lions win. All right, I'll take that. Joseph, there you go from an extra Mountain Dew, brother. Well, thank you. I will enjoy that exponentially today, especially since I got so much coaching assignments today. We got a game tomorrow, and I got to get some stuff prepped for it. Trump's, what do you got? AG will get the Rodney Rule interviews. Hopefully, we keep both coordinators. Hopefully, but, being a coach, I'm a little selfish here. I hope they both get their opportunities to go be a head coach because you know what? It doesn't come around a lot. We probably are all aware why Ben Johnson, thought it better to not take the Carolina job a year ago. But, you only get so many opportunities in life, especially in the coaching world profession. I hope they both get it. It would be huge losses for Detroit. Selfishly, I'd like them both to return. But from just a coaching brotherhood or whatever you want to say perspective, I hope they both get it, and I hope they both knock it out of the park, man. All right, Hooky Doo, good morning, Coach and the Dew crew. I was thinking yesterday. All right, what were you thinking? Snowski, what do you got? My wife and I will be going to the Lions Bar in San Diego for the NFC title game. One Pride. Woo! You know what? If you want, man, if you're up for it, take some pictures while you're there because the fact there's a Lions Bar in San Diego, take some pictures and send those over to me, man. Maybe I'll try to get them into the thumbnails or whatever. That would be kind of awesome. I hope you guys have a great time. Southwest line, Brent, when the Lions blitz, I expect Purdy to be looking for McCaffrey or Kittle as top options. Yeah, I would agree with that. He'll be trying to get rid of it, quick releases as top options, and Deebo Samuel if he plays. Yeah, so to go through his progression, his route tree, I agree with you that, into the flats with either one of those guys would probably be quick options. If the Lions, if they can get somebody to jump on a pass, though, tip it, pick it, yeah, you could have a house call. Excuse me. All right, Brett, any updates on Houston? Nothing new news. And again, I know we've talked about it all week. My anticipation is we won't have any kind of idea if he's going to play or not play until we see the actives and inactives on Sunday. All right, Phil, greetings and salutations, Dan. Same to you, Phil. Looks like you got a nice new shiny blue guitar in the thumbnail, and it looks nice, man. Trump, I sure hope Houston plays Sunday. Me too, man. Me too. Robert, Dan, what is your take on Kyle Shanahan, and what will his influence be? I think knowing that the Lions are going to come after him, you're going to see a heavy emphasis on pull plays in the running game. So you're pulling either a tackle, a guard, or something like that and try to hit the backside. You're going to try to get the Lions to shift the linebackers through motion. So bring somebody across the line, get the linebackers to shift over this way, and then on the snap, get that same person or somebody else, maybe an interior guard, to pull and hit the backside of the Lions defense. I suspect they'll try that or something similar to that quite a lot. Other than that, knowing that Purdy is going to get blitzed, they're probably going to keep the vast majority of the routes to quicker timing routes, out routes or flat routes, screen passes, things like that. They're going to want to get the ball. How about this? I'll just say this. They're going to want to get the ball out of Purdy's hands as quick as possible. Joseph, so glad to see the Lions in it. It's been a long time. It's been an incredibly long time. Bit ladies, San Fran going down. Weekly prediction, Lions 34-31. Go Lions, the team of destiny, the TOD. All right, Detroit D, we need to extend MCDC now. No need to wait. He's earned it. He is. And he's still got, I want to say 3 years left on his contract. But Brad Holmes, Goff, all these guys, anybody who's got an expiring contract, you probably want to rework them now. All right, Dennis, Houston practice all week. Yeah, same as last week, and he's got to be getting close. It's just it's going to be up to the coaches. What are you doing? What's he doing on the field? Does he give them better options than player A as far as what they want him to do? All right, Detroit D and Brad Holmes. Yeah, I'm with you there. Get him re-signed. Don't ever let him leave Detroit unless he's retiring. Joseph, the 49ers and the Cowboys are the two teams I just absolutely want the Lions to beat. You know what? We in my book, we beat the Cowboys. Now we just need to go out there and do it to the 49ers. Magruder 1, Lions have most likely been working on pass coverage, should be ready and improved. Yeah, my guess is they have. It's just, they do have some tough assignments here for this weekend. Michael, Jim Harbaugh is Chargers head coach now. I hope Ben Johnson does well as part of Dan Campbell tree. Yeah, ain't that something? You got people wanting to hire Detroit Lions coaches. Times have changed, man. Times have changed. Aaron, good evening from Australia. Don't forget to hit the likes. Lions 34-27. Go Lions. Yes, if you haven't yet subscribed or hit the like button, please consider doing so. Curtis, besides Zach, will any of these new practice squad signings even play? I saw we got a running back and O-line. Hard to say, man, just because we don't see them. So it's hard for me to say or give you any kind of real fair assessment if this person's going to be elevated or not. I'd say probably with the offensive line, there's probably some realistic opportunities for him to get in there if Jonah Jackson can't go. All right, Joseph, I thought somebody just had them meniscus tear and played 5 or 6 days later. Could be. It could be. I'm just thinking it's probably not a high probability. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he will play Jonah Jackson. That would be great for us if he can. I'm trying to keep at least what I view as realistic expectations out there. Obviously, I hope that he can. I just think it's not high probability. All right, Bruce, greetings and salutations. Good morning, Lions. Good Lions morning. Just got here. Any insight on Ben Johnson to the Commanders rumors? No, nothing. And we're not going to know anything official until the Lions season comes to a close. At that point, if they have indeed already worked on an agreement with Ben Johnson or his representation, I should say, that's when it will be announced. They won't do it until the Lions season's over. All right, Mara, what do you got? That's what I've been hearing about Ben Johnson. The scary part is that Ben and Jared married. I'm afraid that he will try to take Jared with him to Washington. The one issue with that would be that Washington would have to trade for him. And the Lions, obviously, they still have him under contract. They could still franchise him for 2 consecutive years after that. So it's my guess Washington's going to probably try to draft a quarterback high and not take Jared Goff. I mean, then again, if they're going to make an offer the Lions can't refuse, well, then I guess that's up to Brad Holmes to say if that's good for us or not. All right, Trump, attack Debo's shoulder right off the get. Yeah, they're going to. I mean, I know we've been talking about that with jams and presses and stuff. Any type of running game, get into them. Let me tell you, if he's going to play, they're probably going to give him some cortisone shots in that. They're going to make it so he feels real nice in that shoulder and feels good. With that being said, he takes a lot of shots on that thing. Probably by that second quarter, that thing starts stiffening up and feeling really not nice again. Now, could he take some more shots? Sure, but and I would hope from a medical standpoint, you're not going to put somebody through that. But it is a chance to get to the Super Bowl. And if a guy wants it, then you know what? He'll probably get it. McGruber Hutch also has a glad look in his eyes. Purdy will get pummeled. Yeah, I think they're going to get to Purdy. And maybe it won't be a ton of sacks, but they're going to get their hits on him. Joseph, Tard, yeah. All right. Hookadoo. Good morning, Coach and Duke crew. I was thinking yesterday if I put all my Lions gear on, I would be look like Randy from Xmas Story. LOL, go Lions. Well, you know what? Give it a go, man. That might be all right. Steve, Ben, why not stick with a good thing one more year? Detroit, wait for a better option next year. Maybe Buffalo, ? Selfishly, one can hope, ! I do want the best for him, though. Yeah, and I think we all do for the coordinators, but we're all the same as you, Steve. We all want to see them return just because we're Lions fans. We want to see the team continue to do well. So that's the tough part. Matthew, greetings and salutations. Same to you. Matt McGruber, Hutch has a glazed look in his eyes. Pretty going to get pummeled. Yeah, I knew we were going with that, man. Southwest, if we could just get Gibbs and Jama the ball on the run in space 5 to 10 times on Sunday, Gibbs was well used in both the run and the pass against Tampa. He was. I thought they balanced it very well. And like you're saying, maybe they can get both of them the ball in space. Michael, Badgley kicks winning field goal with time running out. Lions 33, 49ers 32. Sold. I'll take it. Anything with the Lions win, I'll accept. Joseph, I hope our number 2 run defense can stop Christian McCaffrey. If we can't stop him, we will win, I think. Yeah, you limit him. I think your chances of going up skyrocket exponentially. Trump's run the ball, keep San Fran off the field, wear them down. I like the way you're thinking. Brent, 34-31, Bit Lady, great minds think alike. Haha, I like it. Overtime. Let's not forget San Francisco got an extra day to prepare and rest for this game. They did. You know what? Nothing you can do about it. Derwin, just hope the refs just let them play. And the fourth, no stupid calls. Yeah, I hope the refs don't interject themselves. I agree with you there. Let's see. Southwest Lion, MCDC said it best in his interview yesterday. Priority 1 is to stop the run, make San Francisco one-dimensional. Easier said than done. 100%. And you know what? They're going to be doing the same thing to us, trying to make that happen. McGruber, San Francisco bye week, not an advantage. Lions going to be like a runaway train. I like the way you're thinking. Big old D, morning Duke crew. How's my Lions faithful today? I think I'm doing great. Oh, it sounds like everybody else is too, other than everybody's ready for this game to be here. Randy Parsons, greetings and salutations from Charlevoix country, north of the 45 parallel. Let's freaking go. All right. And hopefully having a great one, Randy. Trump, God bless America. Freedom is not free. No, it never is. Lincoln, I want the media to go against the Lions so they can use it as fuel. Yeah, use that as, locker room, clipboard, whatever material, fuel to the fire. Robert G, they need to put a hawk on MC, Christian McCaffrey and tackle him even if he doesn't have the ball. I was saying it earlier in the week, man, get shots on that thigh of his, that hamstring, because you know what? It's sore, it's tender. I don't want anybody to get hurt, but at the same time, if you use that to advantage, it's an advantage. General Brown, Goff, and St. Brown going home to play in Cali. They will be in their comfort zone. I like it. I like that a lot. Hooky doo. Dan Campbell even said that yesterday in the media room that there are usually 20 of you today, and today the room is full. Yeah, he did mention that. I did see that. Man Bear, good morning. Good morning to you too. Raft the alarm so they can sign Ertz, but can't find someone to replace Mr. Sutton. Please, I pray to God he proves me wrong and sticks it to me by being in the highlight on defense this Sunday. Go Lions. And I guess, Rafty, that's kind of what we were saying earlier. There's got to be somebody out there to sign that is a clear improvement. And at least from the coaching staffs, and I can't think anybody else top of my head that is a clear upgrade that is a free agent. So if you guys got somebody, let me know, but I can't think of anybody. Let's see. Brent, I think MCDC coaches the way he does sometimes because he doesn't want to leave the game in the hands of the refs. I would agree. You leave it up to them, then you're leaving it to a force outside of your control. You can control what your team does. You can't control what the other team or the refs do. So I get your point with that, Brent. Trump, tackle Debo and hit him often. Agreed. Yeah, put it on him. Phil, I heard the Lions hired a special group of physical therapists and our players are coming back faster because of it. Could be, but we've talked about it before in the season, in the show, that is, during the season. You got to give a lot of props to the medical staff. They've done a lot of great things. You look at the Sam Laporta, just use that as the highlight. What they did and how aggressive they were in that recovery played exponential, huge factor in the fact he was able to get out there against the Rams. All right, let's see. Jason, Purdy is the weak link in this matchup. Game plan, exploit the situation. 100%. Try to put the weight of the world on him to win this game. I'm Brandon, Dan the man. Thank you for that, and hopefully having a great one. Brent, didn't the Lions hire another new medical team this year? I think they did. In the right around June. Don't hold me to that, but that sounds about right. All right, Nine Drinks. Good morning, Dew Crew. Good morning to you too, Nine Drinks. The infamous one, the legend. McGruber, Hutchinson, Anzalone, and Campbell going to shine in San Francisco. Purdy will be crushed. I like it. Break him. Put him down. Make him Mr. T. What's my prediction? Pain. Tommy, good morning. To go Lions, 100%. Same to you. Hopefully you have a great morning. Phil, here 25% of the crowd is for Detroit. Let's hope we can get those numbers up to more like 50%. That'd be a big ask. But if we could, hey, it could be Ford Field to the west. Bitley, so far I heard the Lions fans are at about 22% of the total capacity. Let's get it over 30% if we can. Yeah, that would be massive if you can. If you can get almost half the field to be cheering for the Lions and trying to make it loud against the Niners, man, that would be awesome. Phil, I suspect Ben will stay if the Lions do not go all the way. It could be. And again, it's going to be his call because it sounds like he's going to have some opportunities. Hopefully, Aaron Glenn's going to have some opportunities too. But if they're both back next year, I won't complain. Southwest, exactly, Dan. Lions need to disguise their look pre-snap, post-snap against Purdy. Yeah, make it as difficult for him to get the reads as possible. Try to keep him confused and flushed, especially early in the game. If you get some things to go the Lions' way, that just adds more emotional weight to Purdy and what he's going to have to face. All right, Phil, does Bobby realize your chat loves her? I don't think she fully understands what I'm talking about when I mention it to her, but she's heard it enough now where she at least somewhat gets it, I think. Robert G, all the pressure is on the 49ers. I would agree with that. They're at home. They are the favorites. Yeah, that is not lost on players sometimes. That we're supposed to win, and they put mental pressure on themselves. So I think you're right about that, Robert G. Rafty, 35-21 Lions. I would take that in a heartbeat. Hooker time. In 1983, Lions lost 24-23 to San Francisco in the playoffs from Eddie Murray missed field goal. Troy outplayed them too. It wasn't Murray that lost them the game. It was Gary Danielson. He had 5 interceptions. I vaguely remember the game. I think I was like, 11 at the time, but I do remember it. I remember the missed field goal. And yeah, man, the Lions had Smoking Joe Montana on the ropes, and they let him off. I mean, man, could have had that game. Pressure, exclamation point. Got to get pressure on Purdy. He panics under pressure. Yes, and the Packers did get to him early and often just a week ago. Southwest, copy schematically what the Ravens defense did against San Francisco. Yeah, we could try that. The Ravens obviously have different personnel, but let's see what AG does. But they did have their number that night for sure. Tommy, 31-17 Lions. Sold. Phil, how do you find the time to coach, sell property, podcast, and a personal relationship? It just a lot of it comes down to time of year, like coaching's during the winter, where less people are buying houses, during those months. So it just, stuff like that happens. So, and I don't sleep a lot, so that probably also helps. Okay, time. Estimates are 25% will be Lions fans. Yeah, let's hope, like Bit Lady's saying, let's hope we can get that up to 30. I'm personally being selfish in here. Hope we can get it close to 40%. Michael, if Ben Johnson takes Washington job, he's a former NCQB. Would love to have Sam Howell NCQB. Could be. It will be interesting to see what they do with the quarterback situation there. Jason, would you prefer the Chiefs or Ravens, and why? Me, probably the Chiefs. Just I think you do more to their defense. Both quarterbacks for either Chiefs or Ravens, they're going to be tough matchup problems for Detroit without question. Ravens defense, I just think, is a lot more stout. Could give us some more problems, especially with quick pressures. I think Detroit's offense would fare much better against the Chiefs than they would against the Ravens. So you're picking your poison with either team. It's just, if I got to split hairs, I'm probably going with the Chiefs. All right, Southwest, Taylor Swift versus Eminem in Vegas. Have to think the NFL network wants Lions versus Chiefs. Let's hope so. And you know what? I don't care if it's biased refereeing Mean Gene Oakland. I don't care what it is. Lions get the Super Bowl. I don't care if whatever his name is, Blackman, goes out there and when the cameras aren't looking, hits Brock Purdy over the back with a steel chair or whatever, drops a big elbow on him. Maybe he gets on top of, Aiden Hutchinson's back and delivers an elbow to the throat of Brock Purdy. I don't care how it happens. I'm just going to enjoy the Lions being the Super Bowl. That's all I'm worried about. Biased as I may be, that's what I want. Bit Lady, A CD2 talks a lot of smack for a Lion. However, I think it is his MO to build up his own internal motivation. He seems like he is just a guy that thrives on controversy and banter with the opposing teams. Yeah, he's 100% like, Rocky Balboa or 50 other athletes, or a fictional one like Balboa or whatever. Some people just get wired that way where, man, you add that extra fuel to them, they just play at a different level. So I think you're right, Bit Lady. I think he's just getting himself pumped to play as best he can. And you know what? I got no issues with it. Go out there, do what you need to do to play at your personal best. Polar Bear, Donkey Kong is right, 100% Super Bowl or bust. I already left a recorded message on a podcast that, quote, Lions are going to be to the Super Bowl. Boom, book it, sold. I'll take it. And I like the way you're thinking, Polar Bear. Remember, San Francisco bye week not going to help the 49ers. I would agree. Southwest Bit Lady, I agree with your assessment. I think CD Deuce postseason experience and performance so far has backed up his smack talk. Yes, it is. Guy's already got 2 picks and he's only been back, 3 games? So, he's done well. Polar Bear, Sonny, I expect huge things from Gibbs and J-Mo. If the 49ers don't make it a point to stop them. Yes, I will go with that. Joseph, do you think Houston will play? I really thought he'd play last week, but they put him on the inactive list. He just must. They're just saying to me, the coaching staff is saying that there's just currently players that are playing at a higher level than Houston. I guess at the end of the day, if that's what you think, that's what you go with. Michael, good morning, Coach. Just along for the ride. Go Lions. Well, enjoy the ride, my friend. Robert, I just hope that Ben has saved some tricks in his bag for this game. It could be a big difference in the outcome. You could be correct on that. This would be the time to unleash some of those things. T-Share, Skip is a dummy. Everyone should skip his show, and I think more and more people are. Detroit D, we are going to be more physical in the trenches, and that's going to decide the game. I would agree with that. I think Detroit is going to bring it. Southwest Line, let's see. It's not complicated. If Goff continues to play at a high level, that's the Lions' best chance to win. Agreed. Concurred. All right. Detroit D, Brock Purdy is going to get exposed, and San Francisco will be looking for a new quarterback in this year's draft. Ooh, that's a hot take right there. Anthony, good morning, Duke Crew. Super Bowl or bust. Boom. Book it. Trump, run the ball, stop the run. Phil, are the 49ers defensive backs good enough to cover one-on-one? No, and I think that's partially why they play so much zone coverage, Phil. I think they try to, as best they can, hide what those cornerbacks get exposed with. All right, Southwest Dan, I think the way to unclog the middle is to make the 49ers defend the entire field and using players like Gibbs and J-Mo in pre-snap motion. Could be. Yeah, that's not a bad game plan at all. Detroit D, Gibbs on choice routes against linebackers in San Francisco. Gibbs should win the majority of those matchups. Yeah, they're both gonna put some pressure on those backers for sure. T-shirt, greetings, salutations, Coach and Duke Crew. It will be 34-27. Lions win and punch their ticket for the first ever Super Bowl! ! Skip, Florio can all eat his stuff when that happens, or run game will punish them around. Yes, agreed. And man, won't that be something? Lions in the Super Bowl. All right, Trump, Goff should feast on zone coverage. He should. So as long as you can protect him, the longer you protect him, where he's got more time, the longer that zone has to expand, the more you're going to get people open. Anthony, for some reason, I feel a blowout coming. I mean, a game where our Lions play competitive game from special teams, offense, and defense. I like it. Anthony, 42-10. You know what? That would be awesome. Detroit D, would like to see Ben Johnson run some double screens with Gibbs and Montgomery or St. Brown. Could be happening. Could be in the game plan. McGruber, I predict Purdy will be hit hard and out for the game. Yeah, if it could happen almost like last year against Philadelphia where he goes out and the other quarterback goes out, man, that would be a dream scenario. Phil, yards after the catch are due to blocking downfield. Both teams are good at that. I would agree with that, man. Trump, hit them hard, make them afraid to catch the ball. Yeah, go old school. Lay them out, man. David, go Lions. Woo! There we go. I think that might actually be the first woo of the day. Seafull, I predict the game will break viewing records. Detroit is the new America's team. You know, there's, I think, more and more evidence of that, so you might be spot on. Trump, Kid Rock over Pedro Eminem, all right? Anthony, hey, thanks for that, Anthony. Thank you very much. Maybe I'll get a second due and a second hot dog today and a bigger tip for Bobby. She'll be real thankful. Do you think MCDC, AG, and Ben Johnson gonna let it all hang out? I mean, it's a win or go home. Yeah, and you can't hold anything back. So if you got trick plays, trick blitzes, whatever, this is the time to do it. I know I've mentioned it throughout the week that I do think we haven't seen gambling man Dan Campbell in a while. But if you want to go for it on fourth down, the 49ers special teams, unless they change something from, I've watched about 5 of their games now, and I really do think on punts, you can hit them out wide with some pulls. So, Jalen Reeves may have been going out wide and trying to run for the first down. I think it's there. And as far as on throws, man, I don't know. We haven't seen it really this year with Jack Fox. Obviously, we're aware he can throw it. Are you going to do that, in this game? Some potential, but I do think the runs are there, or sweeps, I should say, on punts. We haven't seen anything really in years out of them on the field goal setup or for a fake field goal, so I'm not anticipating that. But on punts, yeah, I think it is there. Trump, I bet 85% of crisp players would like Swift to go away. Chiefs players, yeah, I knew, figured it out where you're going with that. Let's go, Eminem. All right. Trump autocorrect. it happens, man. Trey, rising all Lions 27, 49ers 24. Take it. It's a Lions win. Keith, 49ers are beatable. I agree. Keith, Brock is just a regular dude, nothing special. No, I think the system really helps him out a lot, and give a lot of credit to Shanahan. Trump, keep the poo off the shoes in San Francisco. There you go. Robert, if we lose both corners, what will our complex typically be? We'll see. You have to go out and find some new replacements. I'm hoping they've had people understudying them both, just to be prepared for this, to bring somebody into that situation next year. Robert, 42-10, Lions win. Reminds me of the 2000 Giants versus Vikings. Oh, now that's a throwback thought. All right, Mike, Taylor Swift versus Eminem Super Bowl. Let's see if they can get that. Maybe like one of those old MTV. Was it? What was it? The one with the claymation and the cage match or death matches, whatever. Taylor Swift versus Eminem. There you go. Trump's genius. If we lose chords, when do we get a comp pick? It'd be for this upcoming draft, if I'm not mistaken. So you would have them this year. Trump, Kid Rock over Eminem. All right. Detroit D, I think AG is going to play mind games with Purdy. I hope he does, man. Do everything you can to confuse that guy. Anthony, what's your thoughts on Clayton and Cheat reffing this game? Nothing much, man. It's just him. It's not his entire crew. Plus, I think you're this far into the playoffs. The NFL really doesn't want anything controversial happening, because it's just not a good look that, the winner of some game got into the Super Bowl from a controversial call. Doesn't mean it's never happened before. It has. I just think they're going to do everything they can to try to prevent that from happening. Is that still you? Lions 38, the San Fran 20. Sold. Rob, what do you got? I don't know if we are going to win, but we weren't supposed to be here yet. As long as Lions make it a game, we can ride off with dignity until next season. We'll be back. Yep. But I'm going to say this, man. I'm going for that win. All right, guys, it's been over an hour. I'm going to have to close up shop and get ready for work and all that kind of stuff. If you haven't yet subscribed to Lions Talk Live, please consider doing so, making that push to get to 5,800 before kickoff. I want to say we're like 60-some subs away, so if you can help out with that, that'd be great. Also, if you enjoyed the show, maybe hit that thumbs up button. Take care. Enjoy your day. And if there's some breaking news later today, I'll try to get on as quick as possible. Otherwise, I'll see you all in the next Lions Talk Live. Take care, everybody.